Peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light. This video is a reinforcement video because I have a new recording device. It's clearer. I have better control over it. You know, it's just a little more crispy. But we're going to reinforce this video right here. Just take that in. It's the scene from the Ephesians. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And from this depiction, you see the angels, you see the warrior angel that they will call Christ fighting the dragon, and then you would see the Most High that's up above the firmament. You understand? They're showing you the flat plane earth, okay? And what's above it is a spiritual war in high places between good and evil. And then you have, like I said, the Most High above the firmament. You can see the dome right here. And I'll zoom in and you'll see his face is blurred out. Because they said no one ever saw the face of the Most High sitting on the throne. And on this channel, I showed numerous beings sitting on chairs or thrones, but I showed you their face. But they always say you can't see God's face, but you see God's face in the city of pineal, which is in your brain, your mind, your pineal gland, the neural melanin, when you walk upright and do right things and take care of your vessel. You see God's face all the time. Just look in the mirror. Okay, like I said, let me zoom out some more to give you the full depiction of this illustration, the words and all, the flat dome, the flat earth, circle of the earth, an infinite plane, the spiritual war between the angels and the dragon, the demon, the Draco, the reptilians, whatever you want to call it, the Most High, and the firmament. You see the stars and everything fixed inside the vault of the earth, which is the only thing that spins. It spins above you. The ground does not spin. Time-lapse video shows that the only thing that spins is the sky because it's a dome. They call it the vault of the earth. You can Google it, and it's the only thing that rotates. And these lights, which they call stars, are fixed in the firmament dome. Moving on. Now, this is the real picture. Okay, I'm going to point everything out. Here is the dragon. Here's the warrior that they call Jesus or Christ. Okay, here's the angels down here coming in to fight the dragon. Okay, and then up here you have the face of the Most High looking down at the spiritual war. And I'm going to zoom in and show you the dragon. I'm going to zoom in on his face first and foremost. This video was done before, but I'm just redoing it because it's so crazy. Now I'm going to take down the brightness so you can see. Now we're going to point out that clouds cannot make these detailed shapes. Remember, I just showed you this is spiritual warfare. Okay? Wickedness in high places. You see the eye of the entity, the dragon. Right here. You see the cavity that it's sitting in. You see detail in the fur. Here's his horns curving down. Here's his head coming around to his mouth, wide open, yelling. And you can even see his teeth. Now play with the contrast slightly. You clearly can see that, folks. I'm just holding that there for the naysayers. I'm not making up things in the sky, putting together shapes and forms. These shapes and forms are supernatural, and I'm trying to bring you into my experience to help you see. Okay? That's what I'm here for. And now this is the body of the entity or the dragon. Here's his head right here. And under it is a giant craft. And you can see other small craft that are coming out of this giant craft. Now, understand, these are UFOs that people see constantly. I'll zoom in on them. But this massive craft right here is one of the big ships. Okay? Understand that. Now, let me zoom out for perspective. There's the dragon. There's his head. Here's his body. We have a giant entity that's on its back, flying outside of it, probably popped out of this ship, a giant being that popped out of this giant ship. So if we see craft in the sky that are big to us, that look like these little specks that I'm gonna zoom in and show you, okay? Understand how big this being is that's outside of this craft right here. If we see these ships and they came down to the ground, they would be probably about like 10 feet long. Okay? That's pretty big. The average person is like, what, 5'11", 6 feet as far as a man? You figure Shaq is 7 feet. So if you got a 10-foot craft and, you know, it's bigger than Shaq, imagine how big this ship is and how big this being is. This being is humongous. Okay? Humongous. Okay, now I'm gonna zoom in on this craft right here. Okay, here we go. You see the shape, and it has an eye in the middle. I'll zoom in on the eye so you can see it clearly. Okay, here's the eye. Here's the pupil. This is just the ship with these symbols on it, and that's a smaller craft. Going to zoom out for perspective to show you. We're not spitballing anything, people. This is common sense and logic, high level intelligence, intelligence over emotion. Shout out Mike Rashid. I watched one of his videos. He had that on his t-shirt. That's what we have to do. Master our emotions. And these are the smaller cigar shaped craft that are coming out of the giant massive one. I'll hold that in tight. Pull the contrast out, pull it down so you can see clearly. I'll zoom in on more of the smaller ships. Right there. Excuse me. More right there. Okay, reinforcement, folks. I did this video before, but I'm really going in deeper because I have better quality. And this is the being that's flying on the back of the dragon. I'm going to raise up the contrast so you can see it's a bird-faced deity. Here's his face. Here's his eye. He has something on his sticking out of his forehead. Here's his body, arm, body, and his other little entity standing next to him. I'm going to zoom in on the bird face. And I'm going to pull the contrast down. So you can clearly see the face right there and the appendage that's sticking off of his head. Here's his front of his face and his eye. Now pull the contrast back up slightly to normal, and I'm going to zoom out and show you him in perspective. And then right next to him is another entity. I'll zoom in on him. Right here. This is his face. I'll play with the contrast slightly, pull it down. So you can see the eye shine in the faces. You see the face being projected right there. Eye, nose, mouth, head. And then you see something illuminated right there. It looks like another head. Going back to normal contrast. And I'm going to zoom out. Perspective of where they are. Moving on. Okay, now I showed you the dragon. We're going to go back to the dragon, the beast, the ram, the bull. Okay, straight from the illustration from Ephesians. Okay, so detailed you can see curly cues in the fur. So detailed you can see the eye and the cavity that it sits in. You see ruffles in the fur and you see his teeth. It's so detailed you can see the points on the fangs. Now I'll play with the contrast slightly while it's that close and then let it translate or articulate visually. Okay. Now I'll keep it right there and I'll zoom out and you can see this beast is growling. We're going to go from his line of sight to what he's growling at. Ride with me, my people. I'm trying to show you something that's so amazing. And you see, from the dragon's line of sight, we go down, and it's screaming and yelling at this face right here. We're going to zoom in on the face. You see it, my people? It looks like a giant face of a black man. Here's his eye, his nose, his mouth, his beard, and you can even see eyebrow ridges or expression. And it looks like he's wearing some type of crown. I'll hold that in tight. And I'm going to, of course, pull the contrast down so that can translate completely through. You see the face, my people? I mean, you can see this entity's lips are curled up. Yeah, I'm trying to help you see, my people. You can't call me crazy. I'm here to witness and reveal and show these things to the whole world. Believe it or not. You know, I'm not joking or playing games. And I'm going to show you the angels that are coming in. Okay? Right here. Right here. This is the war that's going on. Okay? Here's the chariot right here, my people. Smaller craft. I'm going to play with the contrast. There we go. And I'm going to zoom in on these entities right here. This entity right here is wearing a white robe. He has either a helmet on or a blue face. He's holding this creature right here that looks like one of the creatures from the Predator movie, the most recent one. And then you can see other light beings with illuminated heads. I'm going to zoom in on these two characters first. You see him. You see the eye. You see his white body cloaked like garment. He's holding reins like he's riding a horse and buggy. And this creature right here, where you can clearly see his eye, crazy looking head and mouth, and you see his legs. And they're pulling together. This massive ship right here is coming in, and they're on the front of it. I'll zoom in on the beings with the illuminated heads. Yeah, it's serious, my folks. Let this thing focus in a little bit. There we go. And that's an excellent depiction of that creature right there. And then the person that's controlling them. And we'll zoom out for perspective to show you where they are. And like I said, that's the face right there. Hold that in tight. And I'm going to zoom out to show you exactly what I just showed you. A little more. Pull the contrast up. You see the giant craft I just showed with the eye in it. The dragon with the bird-faced deity and other entity on its back. We go to the dragon's eyesight. He's growling at this face. And then we have angels down at the bottom coming in, looking like they're aiding in the war that's going on above our heads. And then, above all, we have this entity right here. You can see he has third eye crown on. Then his head is pointed. His eye. Then he has a very extremely big nose, big lips. You see his cheek, and he has facial hair. And here's his body. I'm just going to let that sink in. Let the whole picture just sink in before I rotate it to show you. You can always screenshot this stuff and look at it for yourself and see that it's truly there. Okay. Now, I'm going to rotate this picture, folks. Let me rotate it to the right. Okay, now I rotated this picture to show you the giant entity that's above, that's watching the whole exchange or conflict or war that's going on. Okay, you can see his eye, you see his nostrils coming down. You can even see the entrance of the nostril. You see his gigantic lips. Here's his cheek, and here's the facial hair that's coming off. Let me zoom out a little more so you can get the full perspective, because his body is up there also. His body is right here, giant shoulder. Now I'm going to pull the contrast up so that can vibrate through. You see that, folks? You can't embody God. You can't make God a woman or a man or an animal or a creature. It's something that's outside of your realm of comprehension. If you look to the entity that they call the most higher God, you probably wouldn't recognize it. It would look like something you saw in a movie. But that's the face right there, folks. You clearly can see it. Third eye, crown, and all. Let's zoom in on the crown. Right there. That's the top of the head. It's in a point. Let's zoom in on the face so there can be no doubt. You see the eye, the cavity of the eye and the eyelid. I'm going to hold that in tight. All right. There's the nose of the entity. You see the cavity of the nose. Let's zoom in. Here's the lips, folks. Chin. Pulling up the contrast slightly so it can translate through. Okay, now I'm going to rotate the picture back. Rotate left. All right. And this is the full pic. Give it a chance to focus in. There we go. And pull the contrast down slightly so all things can translate through. And you see the giant entity right there. Body and all. Third eye, crown, eye, nose, big lips, cheek, goatee, body. The dragon. Yeah, folks. Ill, ain't it? Ill but real. Peace, love, and light. Here for a reason, not a season. Highly underrated, but I'm not here for ego. I'm just here to crack heads open so they wake up. That's all. You'll thank me later. Trust me. Most people do, if they learn to let go of their egos. Because every person I come into contact with, I've leave them with something. Information that they weren't aware of to make them better. And I don't ask for anything in return. Them saying, thank you, you helped me. That's my energy or currency. That's the electricity that I receive when someone makes me feel good from saying, yo, you really helped me, man, when you told me that. You know, that warm, fuzzy feeling you get inside. That's the real energy exchange, not paper money. And this is a screenshot of the craft that was flying under the dragon with the eye. I'll zoom in. Pull down the contrast so you see that eye. Okay? Can't debate me if you're not smart. Only thing you could do is try to insult. Because nature can't make these shapes. Sorry. You see that? You can almost see the entity that's in the cockpit. Yep, you see his face right there. Truth Post, thank you. I read your comments, and I see you're truly with me. Yeah, this stuff needs to be shared so it can reach everyone. Now I'm zooming out, folks, and you see the eye is right here. And I just showed you the entity that's sitting in there. Okay? Now, got a couple more shots from the Ephesians shot. Okay? That's the face. We're just going to keep flipping that back and forth. That's what the dragon was yelling at, folks. This is reinforcement. Like I said, it just needs to be constantly put back out there to show you that this is not a fluke. This is what I do. People that know me in real time know how I operate. They know how I move. They know what I do. And if you're around me, you experience a lot of things that you'd be like, you were a skeptic at one time. But if you just be around me, you'll experience so much that it will make you lose that skepticism in your mind. And you would truly have overstanding or ultra standing. Shout out Area 51 Nick Jackson. I'm telling you, everybody I touch, I leave with something. If you don't take it in, like I said before, it's only to your detriment. Because I'm only here to help. I'm not going to tell you something to hurt you. So it's up to you. You got to know self before you can know anything else. You got to know self. You got to know your personality, your physicality. You have to know your body. Like, come on. That's the biggest secret, hiding you from you. Let's see what else we have dug in here. You know what? I'm just going to go back to the dragon and then let his face resonate to show you. For all the people that think it's a game, that think I'm just making up clouds in the sky and making poodles and houses and you need to slap in the face with the truth stick. And this is it. Here it is. Let this slap you in the face and wake you up out of your spell. Most of y'all demons anyway, devils. You work for Lucifer. You don't want to wake up. You're a disinfo agent. That's all you're here to do. Trust me, I'm aware of all things. We're going to let the dragon's face ride out. Peace, love, and light.